Right. How wonderful that there are so many of you here. That is fantastic, and it's lovely to see you all. For anybody that hasn't seen all of these instruments before and doesn't know what they all are, very briefly, this is the flute. Naomi's going to play the flute for us, and as you can see, she's playing the character of the cat. Right, this is the oboe, which I'm going to play, and I'm going to be the wish. There you go. This is Katrina. Katrina's playing the horn. And what's Katrina going to be? Yeah. Fairy. The spell, that's right. Spell. This is Claire. Claire's playing the bassoon, and Claire is the dragon. She looks very much like a dragon. On the end there we have Teresa. Teresa's playing the clarinet. Yep. No clues as to what Teresa is, but the witch has two personalities, as all witches do, and Teresa is actually the other half of the witch. Okay, so, and then at the very end we have Suzanna, who is very disappointed that she doesn't have a hat. But Suzanna is our narrator, and she's going to tell us the story. So I hope you enjoy. We need to choose, or we're okay? Don't need to choose, do we? No, we're okay.
Nadia is as black as the darkest night. She has shiny, glistening fur, which she washes proudly every day with her pink, rough tongue. Nadia has green eyes, which she closes to a slit to show her disapproval, and opens wide with delight when she spies a mouse. Nadia is a witch's cat. She has silvery, silky hair hanging long down her back, and she wears a long black cape over a long black dress which swishes along the floor as she walks with the help of a wooden stick. Swish, tap, swish, tap, swish, tap. Magical spells. Now, let me tell you a secret. This is the most secret of secrets, and you must never tell another soul. Promise not to tell?
Yeah.
Good. A witch cannot alone cast her spells. It is not she who has the magic. It is her cat. Without her cat, the witch is in fact an ordinary person just like you and me. The witch's cat cannot use her magic without the witch to mix the ingredients and speak the strange words of the spells. Nadia the witch's cat was sitting on the kitchen table, contentedly licking her paws clean after breakfast. Around her neck hung a small leather pouch, and inside the pouch were all the witch's spells, just like the face. Fidgeting, impatient to get out and work their magic. Nadia stopped her grooming suddenly, narrowed her eyes to a slit, and listened intently to a far-off sound. A swirling of wings, perhaps? Yes, it was the flapping of wings she could hear for sure. Something large, Nadia arched her back, the hair bristling and standing on end. A low, quiet growl emerged from her throat. The sound of the swirling wings became louder and louder, and then she could hear something else. A rush of air, a hot, burning sound. Fire. It must be, it had to be, a dragon. Suddenly there was a crash against the wooden kitchen door. The swirling noise stopped, and Nadia heard a quiet whimpering, and then a voice.
Ow! That hurt. I wish I could get this idea of landing right.
Nadia jumped down silently from the table and padded slowly towards the door. Through a crack in the wooden panels, she could see a purply green, scaly tail and a clawed foot, but actually only a very small clawed foot. Silently and slowly she opened the door, just enough to peer round at the small, purply green, scaly dragon, sitting dejectedly, rubbing his foot. The dragon looked up, startled at seeing the green eyes of the cat, and then remembered he was a dragon and should be fearsome and scary. He breathed a small puff of fire, causing Nadia to dart back around the doorway under the kitchen table, and a small fire to start in the pile of logs outside. Feeling braver and smelling food inside the kitchen, he realised he was hungry, and the dragon pushed open the kitchen door and shuffled inside. Nadia flattened herself against the flagstones and tried to be as invisible as she could. The dragon busied himself with investigating the cooking smells coming from the pot on the stove. The witch, who was out collecting mushrooms, had left a pot of soup simmering, rich smells filling the little kitchen. The dragon's mouth watered as he lifted the lid of the pot and breathed in deeply. Nadia watched him, eyes slits from under the table as he found a ladle and scooped soup from the pot. Now, it doesn't matter to a dragon how hot the soup is. It won't burn his mouth. And he drank deeply from the ladle, a smile spreading across his face. The soup tasted so good, the dragon continued hungrily to ladle soup from the pot, making slurping noises as he ate. Nadia hoped he would soon leave. It wasn't long before the soup pot was empty. The dragon put down the ladle, yawned, rubbed his tummy, and then, feeling very, very tired, sat down in the witch's chair. Soon he was fast asleep and snoring. Nadia peered up from under the table at the snoring dragon. She tiptoed out from her hiding place and sat watching him, unsure what to do next. She couldn't leave him there in the witch's chair, but she certainly didn't want to wake him up. She was also rather curious. She had never seen a dragon quite so close up before. His scales were like the insides of shells, shimmering purple or green, depending on which way you looked at them. His claws were long, strong, and silver in colour. She edged closer and stretched out a paw, gently swiping his tail. He didn't wake, so she moved closer and prodded him in the belly. The dragon, now awake, slowly opened one yellow eye and, seeing Nadia, leapt up. Nadia sprang up onto the table and down onto the floor on the other side. The dragon followed, chasing her round and round the table. She sprang up onto the sink, jumped from there to the dresser, and then ran towards the still ajar door. But as she jumped from the dresser to the open doorway, the leather pouch containing the spells caught on the door handle. The cord snapping and the pouch falling from her neck to the ground. No longer tied by the drawstring, the spells tumbled out, flying through the air, shooting across the kitchen, dancing and bouncing with glee to be free. Nadia froze. No, not the spells. The dragon froze in awe, watching the dazzling, sparkling lights in a rainbow of colours that were the freed spells flying around the kitchen. Nadia cowered close to the ground. The witch would be furious. She turned to the dragon, claws stretched, fur on end, and hissed at him.
You look at what you've done. You come in here, crashing into our door, eating our soup. And now look, you've let all the spells go. The witch will put you into the soup pot for that, you ugly, clumsy, stupid dragon.
The dragon stared dumbfounded at the small cat. Although at least 4 times the size of her, he was, if he was completely honest with himself, terrified of her.
Once freed, they certainly won't want to go back into the pouch. The witch is going to be furious.
Well, we should at least try.
He lunged at the fuzzy gold claw that dragged him out. It immediately jumped up and flew towards the pantry, settling on a separate flower. The little dragon turned, jumped at a blue globe twirling on top of the dresser, and crashed down, bringing half a dozen plates with him. And failing to catch the spell.
Stop. You've done quite enough damage already. You can't catch them like that. They're far too quick. The only way is to charm them back into the pouch.
Nadia explained to the dragon that the spells could only be recaptured by being lured back into the pouch with a charm. Each spell would require a different charm, and with there being 4 spells now flying around the kitchen, this would take some time. She had her own fears as well.
The witch will be back soon, and she'll be so angry. I have to try to recapture the spells before she gets back.
The dragon shuffled his feet and looked down at the floor.
I don't know much about charms.
You don't know much about anything. You're just a fat, clumsy, ugly, stupid dragon.
Actually, I do have a name. I'm called Hubertus.
Well, I cannot say it is a pleasure to meet you, Hubertus, because it is not. Now wait here and don't touch anything.
Nadia growled at the dragon as she padded out of the room. Hubertus sniffed. He didn't at all like the sound of the witch, and he found the cat cruel and unfriendly. He hadn't done anything deliberately. He sat down on the floor, watching a pink starlight shape doing somersaults on the table. Nadia reappeared, carrying a silver tube. Hubertus had never seen such a thing before, and asked what it was. Nadia shook her head at the dragon.
You really are stupid, aren't you? It's a flute, of course. The flute is a wonderful musical instrument with a sweet, high sound. The blue globe up there on the dresser is the spell for turning night into day. Maybe the notes from the flute can lure the spell back into the pouch.
She put the flute to her mouth and began to play. Tumbled out of the flute and began to circle the blue globe on the dresser, dancing around it delicately. The globe began to follow the notes, dancing with them, down the dresser to the table and into the pouch which Nadia had placed on the table. Nadia stopped playing, quickly pulled tight the drawstring, and tied the pouch securely around her neck once more. The next step was to find the right charms for the remaining 3 spells. Nadia had to think. The spell for making thunder was still free, the fuzzy gold blob that Hubertus had seen on the draining board. For that, she would need something very loud. The spell for making thunder could only be frightened back into the pouch by another very loud noise. So she asked Hubertus to make the loudest noise he could. Even Hubertus shouting at the top of his voice and stamping around the kitchen was not loud enough. Nadia joined in, caterwauling. The spell, which had jumped onto the windowsill, looking forlornly out at the clouds, just ignored them. They needed something much, much louder. Now, how many of you are here today? Quite a few. Yeah. So maybe you could help Nadia and Hubertus frighten the spell back into the pouch. So when the instruments start to play, you can all drum with your hands. Just drum with your hands on your laps and make as much noise as you can, just with your hands. Frightened me. The spell for making thunder was so shaken by all the noise it heard that it jumped off the windowsill and into the pouch, which Nadia was holding open. She closed the pouch tight again. She was beginning to feel quite pleased with herself. 2 spells already captured, and only 2 left. Next came the spell for taming wild animals. The spell was silver and gold and rushed around the room, stopping momentarily before flying off again and again. right in front of Nadia on the kitchen table.
You won't catch me so easily. I want to be free to run here and everywhere. I don't want to be squashed up inside that dark pouch of yours ever again.
Nadia squinted at the spell and swiped at it with her paw, hissing. The spell darted to the side, ran behind Nadia and pushed her off the table, laughing. Flipping over to land on all four paws, Nadia proceeded to chase the spell faster and faster round the kitchen, up onto the dresser, along the windowsill and through the pantry, upsetting a sack of flour and a basket of potatoes, and back onto the table. Nadia circled around and around, the spell following her, and getting dizzier and dizzier all the time. Then, springing towards Hubertus, an impossible height, she threw herself at the spell, landing squarely on top of it. The spell, seeing her just in time, shot forward, not seeing, because it was so dizzy, the open pouch Hubertus was holding. Jumped off into the table and sat cleaning her fur. She couldn't bring herself to congratulate Hubertus for catching the spell, although she had to admit to herself that he had reacted very quick-wittedly for him. She mused over the remaining spell, the pink star-like shape that had been doing somersaults and that now sat glowing in the pantry, was the spell for bringing in winter. The witch used the spell to make sudden snowstorms, whirling, swirling cold snow and icy winds. She shuddered. Nothing was worse than the feeling of snow on the paws. But how could she charm it? Suddenly, Nadia's fur bristled and her ears pricked up at hearing a distant sound outside. Oh no, it couldn't be. Do you know what the sound is?
A dragon.
It was the witch coming back home. Nadia leapt off the table and, running towards the pantry, shouted at Hubertus.
Quick, quick, the witch is back. Hide in the pantry, quickly.
Hubertus looked terrified and stumbled clumsily towards the pantry. Off the spell, seeing the dragon coming towards it, flew out of the pantry, momentarily landing on Hubertus' shoulder before landing on the dresser. Hubertus felt the cold touch of the spell, reached the pantry and pulled the door shut tight behind him. Nadia looked at the chaos in the kitchen, the broken plates, the upturned chairs, and worse, the spell still sitting glowing on the dresser. But there was no time to do anything. Now louder and louder. The door opened and in stepped the witch, her cloak swirling around her ankles and a basket of mushrooms on her arm. She placed the basket on the table, under which sat Nadia, flattened out to the floor, eyeing the witch. The witch looked around in disbelief. At first thinking they must have been burgled, or perhaps attacked by some wild beast. But then, looking up to the dresser, she saw the spell, shining and still turning somersaults.
Nadia! Where are you, you good-for-nothing creature?
There's no point in hiding. Where are you?
Nadia knew she couldn't stay under the table forever, and came out, purring and wrapping herself around the witch's ankles, trying to placate her.
a good explanation for all of this.
Nadia sat looking at the witch. What could she say? That a dragon was hiding in the pantry and had eaten all the soup? Somehow the truth was unbelievable.
I saw a mouse and was trying to catch it. I caught the bag on the door handle, it came loose and the spells escaped. I have already caught 3 of them though.
The witch glared at her cat.
Well, you better have a good plan to catch this one, or else I shall cast the spell and kick you out into the snow after it.
Nadia shuddered, already feeling the cold snow on her paws. She thought hard and quickly. How would she charm the spell to bring on winter? Suddenly, she remembered a glass snowstorm that the witch had. Inside the glass dome, snow swirled when the dome was shaken. The snow billowed around inside, against a winter landscape. Maybe, just maybe, the spell would be as charmed by it as the witch was. The witch was busy collecting the broken plates off the floor. Nadia tiptoed out of the kitchen and found the snowstorm in the witch's study. Bringing it back into the kitchen, she shook it hard and set it on the table. Nothing happened. She closed her eyes, wished very hard, and when she opened them, looking up at the dresser, she could see the spell leaning forward, right on the edge, apparently staring hard at the snowstorm. She shook the dome again, and this time the spell jumped down from the top shelf to the bottom one. The witch was watching, silently. Nadia shook the dome one last time, and the spell jumped from the dresser to the table, dancing in time with the swirling snow. Nadia quickly pulled the pouch from her neck and threw it over the spell. The witch looked at her cat.
Where is the soup?
The dragon ate it.
The witch flew into a sudden rage and hurled herself at Nadia. Nadia jumped to the floor, and the witch chased her round and round the table.
You lie! You lie! You can't trust a cat! You lie!
You lie, never trust a cat, you lie.
Hubertus, hearing the commotion out in the kitchen, felt sorry for Nadia. She wasn't lying, and it was true. He had eaten the soup. He knew he had to help the cat. Cautiously, he pushed open the pantry door and emerged, slightly dusted with flour, and leaving white footprints after him.
Excuse me, Mrs. Witch, but it is true. I did eat the soup, and it was very tasty.
The witch stopped dead in her tracks. Before her stood the little fat, greeny, purply dragon, leaving flowery footprints behind him. Nadia was dumbstruck. Hubertus was being brave. Hubertus was standing up for her. And after all the nasty names she called him. After clearing up the mess, the witch, Hubertus and Nadia all sat down at the kitchen table and the whole story was told. The witch drank peppermint tea. Nadia lapped milk from a saucer and Hubertus supped fresh mushroom soup. Nadia found she had learnt something important that day. She now knew she shouldn't be mean to people just because they look different from her, because they too have good inside them. The dragon received a spell from the witch to make him more graceful, and the witch said he could stay and do odd jobs around the house, in return for a bed and as much soup as he could eat. The spells jiggled around inside the pouch, firmly tied around Nadia's neck. So the unlikely trio of the witch, her cat, and the dragon named Hubertus lived from then on very happily together in the little house in the woods.